Has a reality check ever failed you in a dream? You did the check, but you still didn't get lucid. Or you've been doing your reality checks during the day consistently, and you're finding that you're not getting lucid at all. It's like, well, don't fret too much, because there's usually a really good reason, and it's usually a super easy fix. There's actually two aspects to doing reality checks properly. Most people take on aspect one and they don't really understand how important aspect two is. I'm going to break them both down for you so you can make sure that you are doing each part correctly and tweak wherever you feel like maybe there's a little bit of weakness. This will really strengthen your practice and make sure that the effort you're putting into your reality check practice pays off. The first part is the most obvious, which is correct technique. And listen, there are so many different kinds of reality checks you can use, right? So the important thing is to think about what is the mechanism that the reality check is working with. So for instance, if you work with detail, so a hand check or text or numbers, you are working with the part of the brain that is, trying to track detail. The reason that works in a lucid dream is that while we're dreaming, the left part of our brain, which deals with patterns, fine details, that's mostly asleep. So it's very hard in a non-lucid dream for the brain to replicate detail or text or numbers for a sort of consistent period of time. So if you're using that kind of a reality check, understand that you must be really focused on the detail. If you're doing a hand check, don't just glance. Choose an aspect of the hand, a spot, a wrinkle. Really look at it, flip it and check, did anything change or is it identical? The same with text. Don't just I think it's a word, look away, look back, because you'll confabulate. So if you're going to use a detail-oriented reality check, the key for correct technique is real detail. But for instance, if you're using a body-based technique like the one where you hold your nose and you try to breathe in, that one is working on the mechanism that even though you're holding your breath, at some point the physical body in bed is going to start breathing naturally. So then in the dream, even though you're holding your nose, closing your mouth, and you're trying to breathe in, you'll notice that air starts to flow. So in that case, you need to give your body some time. You might need to breathe in 3 or 4 times, before the body actually kicks into its automatic breathing. So if you just do that once and no air comes through, you might conclude, I'm in waking reality. So with something like that, you need to give it time. So for correct technique, really understand the mechanism of your reality check and really make sure you're doing the correct, thoughtful approach to it. And the second part, which I think is the most important, is correct state. The reason you get lucid, even with a reality check, is the quality of your awareness. So when you are doing reality checks during the day, do not just treat them as a physical practice. What you want to do is when you're doing that, you want to cultivate a state of awareness and presence, which means really think about where you are, look around. I like to do some mindfulness. I like to really broaden my visual field so I can see on each side of my periphery, or listen carefully to sounds or feel my body. If you bring real presence and awareness every time you do a reality check, you'll do the same when you're in a dream. And it's that self-reflective awareness, that real presence, that metacognitive awareness, that's what gets you lucid. And if you tether the two, you'll start to find that you won't even need reality checks anymore. Simply reflecting on where you are, simply being present and connected to your environment, whether that's the waking realm or the dreaming realm, that's what's going to get you lucid. So if you're setting up a reality check practice, what I like to do is have a combo. I use the hand flip for detail, I use the holding nose and breathing in for working with the body, and then I really tether that to strong state awareness. Now, if you're doing all those things and it's still not working, maybe your motivation is off. So make sure you watch my video about creating correct motivation.